More progress and more funding to cut climate pollution in landfills.
This is our brand new cogeneration engine.
See the local benefits from CalRecycle's circular economy investment. And the numbers are in. Mattresses collected, recycled, and kept out of California landfills last year, plus new information for recyclers in California's Beverage container recycling program. CalRecycle's monthly public meeting starts now.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us for CalRecycle September 2023 public meeting. This meeting is by Californians for Californians as we work together to protect our communities and fight climate change. To serve people of differing abilities and comply with the requirements of the American Disabilities Act, CalRecycle provides closed captions for publicly viewed meetings. Our staff has worked to identify the most accurate captioning software available with appropriate filters. Because live captioning requires voice recognition software, we'd like you to know that some errors may occur with this broadcast. Here's information about our Spanish language interpretation.
El idioma no debe ser una barrera cuando se trata de proteger nuestro aire, nuestra agua y tierra. CalRecycle está transmitiendo simultáneamente esta junta pública en español e inglés. Puede encontrar el enlace en línea en español e inglés en la parte superior de nuestra página web calrecycle.ca.gov. Language shouldn't be a barrier when it comes to protecting our air, water, and land. CalRecycle is simulcasting this meeting in English and Spanish. Click the public meeting banner at the top of calrecycle.ca.gov for a link to our webcasts in both English and Spanish.
If you're attending this meeting in person in Byron Share Auditorium, we have Spanish interpretation devices available. Let our team on your left-hand side of the dais know if you need one.
Si asiste a esta junta en persona en Byron Share, tenemos dispositivos de traducción al español disponibles. Informe a nuestro equipo al lado izquierdo del mostrador de presentación ejecutiva si necesita uno. Gracias.
Our first agenda item today is the Director's Report. CalRecycle Director Rachel Mackey-Wagner is out this week, so Chief Deputy Director Mindy McIntyre joins us now for this report. Good morning, Mindy.
Good morning, and thank you all for being here today. We have quite a few updates today, and we'll hear about the processing payments for Beverage Container Recycling Program. We'll hear about grant opportunities for 1383, and an update on jurisdictions now reporting organic waste recycling collection. So let's get started. Thank you.
CalRecycle wants your feedback as we work to implement historic circular economy reforms. CalRecycle's next informal SB 54 workshop is set for Wednesday, September 27th at 10 a.m. Topics will include covered material categories, the needs assessment, and source reduction. You can join us here in the Byron Share Auditorium or register to publicly participate on Zoom. CalRecycle is working to release draft regulatory language and hold additional workshops this fall before starting formal rulemaking in early 2024. And CalRecycle is looking for interested parties to express interest in joining various program advisory committees. Division of the Circular Economy Deputy Director Zoe Heller is here with more on that process. Good morning, Zoe.
Good morning. CalRecycle is conducting a review of the composition and needs of the Carpet Stewardship Program Advisory Committee and the Mattress Recycling Organization Advisory Committee. You have until September 29th to submit your application to serve on either of these advisory committees should CalRecycle identify the need for any additions or changes. The primary duty of the advisory committees is to provide recommendations during the development of documents prepared by the stewardship organizations. A full description of each advisory committee's specific statutory responsibilities and appointee expectations are in the application instructions, which will be available on both the Carpet and Mattress web pages. Please contact us with any questions that you might have.
75% of jurisdictions now report food and organic waste collection for residents as California works to cut landfill climate pollution. $90 million in SB 1383 local assistance grants are now available to build on that progress. CalRecycle is in the process of reviewing applications for our most recent CalRecycle Organics infrastructure grants. Let's see how a previous grant recipient is turning food waste into a local resource for their community.
Fighting climate change and keeping our water safe. In California, wastewater treatment plants are an emerging hub for recycling food scraps.
we take in about 10 tons of food waste a day.
With the help of $2.5 million in state funding, the Central Marin Sanitation Agency is upgrading its facility to keep even more food waste from becoming climate pollution in landfills.
The new storage tank, which is funded by CalRecycle, is doubling the amount that we can accept.
Through a process called co-digestion, communities can cost-effectively retool their existing water treatment plants to recycle food waste into products like fertilizer and fuel.
The co-digestion part is where we bring in additional trucks of mainly food waste, and we inject that into the same tanks together with the wastewater materials.
Within 40 days,
naturally occurring bacteria will eat the organic waste and convert it into biogas. This is our brand new cogeneration engine. This is a state-of-the-art power plant, if you will, that takes the biogas from our digesters and produces clean renewable power and heat.
So this would help create a greener, more circular economy in that sense.
Soon they'll produce more energy than they need and send the extra to their community, turning local waste into a local resource to fuel their economy, fight climate change, and lead California's march to a zero-waste future.
The applications CalRecycle is currently reviewing for our most recent organics infrastructure grants include facilities that have processes such as co-digestion, composting, and anaerobic digestion facilities. But additional funding is now available through our SB 1383 Local Assistance Grant Program. Division of the Circular Economy Deputy Director Zoe Heller has more information.
Applications for the latest round of SB 1383 Local Assistance Grants are due November 15th. The $90 million in funding can go to cities, counties, a combination of each, regional or joint power authorities, and special districts that provide solid waste collection. Applicants must certify that they have an enforceable ordinance or similar mechanism. Based on feedback, base award amounts have been increased to $75,000. Joint power authorities can apply without all members, and additional eligible costs have been added. Awards are anticipated in March 2024. CalRecycle expects to start taking applications next month for its Community Composting for Green Spaces grant program. Eligibility for this cycle is restricted to qualifying tribal entities. The $510,000 in grants can help tribal entities create, improve, or expand community composting sites. Grants range from $25,000 to $75,000. Last week, CalRecycle held an information sharing workshop facilitated by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency Region 9 office with environmental directors from tribes throughout California. Staff received feedback on items like indirect cost rates and maximum award amounts. Once a recommendation is finalized, we'll notify all interested parties, and we really appreciate the feedback. CalRecycle anticipates opening the application period next month, with applications due in January and awards expected in March of 2024.
Next on today's agenda is the Beverage Container Recycling Program Deputy Director Amy Cameron to give you more information on processing payments. Good morning, Amy.
Good morning. CalRecycle posted the fourth quarter processing payment adjustment last week. Effective October 1st, 2023, CalRecycle will increase the processing payment for PET plastic. Due to declining scrap values, the payment increases from 13.6 per pound to 18.7 cents per pound. The processing payment for glass decreased by a fraction of a cent. The processing payments for number 2 HDPE, bimetal, and plastics 3 through 7 are not being adjusted. For updates, please subscribe to our listserv. Back to you, Maria.
A reminder, you can submit your public comments on any of today's agenda items. Here's how.
California wants your input on recycling and trash pollution issues. Join CalRecycle's decision-making process by submitting a public comment on any of today's agenda items. Microphones are available for those of you in the room. If you're joining remotely, just click the public meeting banner at the top of our website. Then click the public meeting portal to send us your feedback. We'll address public comments at the end of the meeting.
You can access the public comment portal through our new monthly public meeting webpage. The webpage is also available in Spanish. We will address submitted comments at the end of this meeting. Next on the agenda, new updates on California's mattress stewardship program that has helped keep about 10 million mattresses off our streets and out of our landfills. Let's take a look.
Californians buy about 4 million new mattresses and foundations every year. Too often, many of the old mattresses would end up illegally dumped in our communities, costing California taxpayers millions of dollars a year for cleanup.
And it's a big waste of resources because mattresses are made from materials that are highly recyclable. Materials like steel, foam, wood.
California passed an extended producer responsibility law in 2014 that took the burden of collecting and landfilling used mattresses off local governments, instead requiring the mattress industry to collect and recycle them. The Used Mattress Recovery and Recycling Act requires mattress manufacturers, renovators, and retailers to form a stewardship organization to develop and run a statewide recycling program.
The program contains elements to reduce illegal dumping, increase recycling, and to reduce the public cost of managing old mattresses.
Retailers are required to pick up your old mattress when you have a new mattress delivered. The program also has drop-off options. 99% of Californians now have a free mattress collection option within 15 miles of their home.
Through a consumer recycling fee on each new mattress, the stewardship organization, Mattress Recycling Council, operates the recycling program by educating consumers, expanding convenient collection options, and turning an old problem into new products.
You can take a look at buybuymattress.com to learn how and where to recycle your old mattress.
400 million pounds of mattress materials have been reused and recycled, supporting California's move to a circular remanufacturing economy with less trash and more green jobs.
Deputy Director Zoe Heller has 2 mattress stewardship items for consideration today.
We'll start with the Mattress Recycling Council's 2022 annual report. MRC must submit annual reports to the department by July 1st each year that meet the requirements in statutes, regulations, and its approved plan. MRC must also demonstrate a good faith effort to comply with the state's mattress recycling goals. In 2022, MRC achieved all statewide and program goals, collected over 1.4 million program units, diverted 84.9% of collected units from landfill, recovered 63 million pounds of mattress materials, increased program convenience for California residents and businesses, and invested $1 million on research and development projects to support a circular economy for the mattress industry. MRC reported completing 7 research projects in 2022, has 9 active research projects, and has identified several future research topics of interest. Reported research included the study of the use of cotton, shoddy pad, and coconut fiber from recycled mattresses to make carbon electrodes in lithium batteries. Wow, that's really cool. MRC completed a life cycle analysis and held a webinar to share how mattress recycling reduces carbon dioxide emissions, water usage, and energy usage. It found that each mattress recycled is like driving 60 fewer miles, saving 500 gallons of water, and saving enough energy to power an average household for 3 days. MRC also reported on its engagement with manufacturers in the industry value chain on end-of-life recycling challenges when designing new components and mattresses. Staff concluded that MRC complied with the requirements in statute, regulations, and its plan, complied, and demonstrated a good faith effort to comply with the state goals. The annual report and the staff's analysis are linked in today's agenda. The director must determine whether to approve, conditionally approve, or disapprove MRC's 2022 annual report by September 28th. The second mattress item for today is the Mattress Recycling Council's proposed 2024 budget. By July 1st of each year, MRC is required to submit to the department a proposed program budget for the following calendar year that meets the requirements of statute and regulations. MRC is proposing no change to the current mattress recycling charge of $10.50 per unit. MRC's budget includes $44.5 million in expenditures in '24 to collect and recycle mattresses in California, educate residents and businesses about the program, and perform research to further increase mattress recycling. Staff determined the budget demonstrates adequate funding to cover the anticipated costs of implementing the program and meets the statutory and regulatory requirements. MRC's budget and staff analysis are linked in today's agenda. The director must determine whether to approve, conditionally approve, or disapprove MRC's budget by September 28th. Next on the agenda, the Architectural Paint Stewardship Law requires stewardship organization Paint Care to reimburse CalRecycle each quarter for its full administrative and enforcement costs. Regulations require CalRecycle's director to approve the annual administrative fee at public meeting by September 30th of each year. The administrative fee for July 1, 2022 through June 30th of 23 was $449,277.04, which is just over 1% of Paint Care's estimated annual program expenses. You can find more information on the public notice linked in the agenda item. This item will be sent to Director Wagner for her approval.
Next on the agenda is $2.5 million in grant awards to 7 environmental cleanup projects. Senior Waste Manager Engineer Steve Santacroce joins us with the announcements. I think that's Santa Cruz.
Hello, good morning. Thank you. Through 2 CalRecycle managed grant programs, the Solid Waste Disposal and Co-Disposal Site Cleanup Program funds local agencies to help clean up legacy solid waste sites and illegal dump sites where the responsible party either cannot be identified or is unable or willing to pay for a timely cleanup of these sites. And these sites are a threat to the public health and safety or the environment. This RFI item is to award a total of $1 million in grants through our illegal disposal site abatement program. And the awardees are Calaveras County, Del Norte County, Los Angeles County, and Yuba City. And in our other grant program, the Legacy Disposal Site Abatement Grant Program, we're awarding a total of $1.5 million to the California Department of Fish and Wildlife, to Daly City, and the City of San Jose. You can read more in the way of detail on the individual grant award amounts and the project descriptions for those grants in the linked item. And I also wanted to just announce or remind people that our current fiscal year grant applications, the due date is this Wednesday, tomorrow. And with that, I'll send it back to Maria.
Thanks so much, Steve. Moving on now to solid waste and tire facilities permit and emergency waivers. CalRecycle has upgraded its facility permit presentation to show an aerial view of the county and then an aerial view of the specific facility. Here's a quick overview of California facility standards, plus a statewide facility permit update from Environmental Program Manager Paulina Lawrence.
Protecting the health of Californians and their land, food, water, and air is a big job. Local, state, and federal agencies play different roles to enforce public health and environmental safety standards. In California, solid waste local enforcement agencies process applications, issue and enforce permits for solid waste facilities. These include landfills, transfer stations, compost facilities, or similar operations. CalRecycle must verify permits are consistent with state requirements. Permits can only address areas within the authority of local enforcement agencies and CalRecycle. Check out the link below for more detailed information. Emergency waivers allow temporary changes to solid waste permit requirements in response to local or state disasters. Local enforcement agencies may approve the waivers, which are good for up to 120 days and may be extended. CalRecycle must review approved waivers and can condition, limit, suspend, or terminate them. Check out the link for more detailed information. For waste tire facilities, CalRecycle processes applications, issues and enforces waste tire permits. These include requirements to make sure tires are stored and processed in a way that reduces potential threats from fire and disease-carrying vectors like mosquitoes. Check out the link for more detailed information.
On August 23, 2023, for Sacramento County, the department has concurred on and/or agreed with the LEA for a new solid waste facilities permit for Aerojet Waste Consolidation Unit. Action is needed August 31st, 2023. Also on August 23, 2023, for Shasta County, the department concurred on and/or agreed with the LEA a revised solid waste facilities permit for the City of Reading Transfer Station, Materials Recovery and Composting Facility. Action is needed August 26, 2023. Continuing on this month's agenda, for Riverside County is Paris Transfer Station and Material Recovery Facility. This is a modified solid waste facilities permit. Action is needed November 1st, 2023. Also continuing for Orange County is Valencia Greenery. This is a new compostable materials handling facility permit. Action is needed September 22nd, 2023. Lastly, continuing on the agenda for Sonoma County is a modified solid waste facilities permit for Global Material Recovery Services. Action is needed September 25th, 2023. New to this month's agenda for the City of LA is CWS DTLA Material Recovery Facility and Transfer Station. This is a modified solid waste facilities permit. Action is needed by October 27, 2023. Preliminary review of the permit package indicates the following proposed changes: updates to the legal description of the facility section, the findings section, documents that describe and/or restrict design and operation of the facility section, self-monitoring section, and the local enforcement agency's conditions section. Also new to the agenda for Stanislaus County, this is a jurisdiction in which CalRecycle is the enforcement agency. We have Recology Blossom Valley Organics North. This is a modified compostable materials handling facility permit. Action is needed October 21st, 2023. Preliminary review of the application package indicates the following proposed changes: updates to the name of the property owner, legal description of the facility, findings, prohibitions, and documents that describe and/or restrict the operation of the facility, the self-monitoring and enforcement agency conditions, and lastly, updates to the report of composting site information.
We're excited to upgrade this section of the monthly public meeting just to help visualize for the public the parts of California that we're serving and what these facilities that we're permitting or helping to permit are serving. We have more information on any of today's agenda items. Just go to CalRecycle's homepage and click the public meeting web banner at the top of our site for a link to the agenda and associated notices. Now it's time for public comments. First, we'll take comments from the public present in our Sacramento Cal EPA headquarters meeting room today. Does anyone have a comment? We have a microphone here on your right-hand side.
That better? Oh, gosh. Okay, sorry. Now I'll step back. Good morning. Julia Levin with the Bioenergy Association of California. I want to thank you for all the work you're doing on the circular economy. It is really exciting. I wanted to focus on one issue in particular, and I'll just jump to the request, which is it would be unbelievably helpful and beneficial if CalRecycle would hold a workshop around the circular economy and opportunities to convert diverted organic waste to hydrogen. As you know, Governor Newsom last month issued an announcement and directed GoBiz, the Governor's Office of Business Development, to work with state agencies to streamline permitting, come up with new funding or financing streams, and new procurement programs. And diverted organic waste to hydrogen is a huge opportunity. In the SB 1075 workshop on clean hydrogen a couple of weeks ago, the Air Board, Public Utilities Commission, and California Energy Commission all included biogenic hydrogen from organic waste in their planning for renewable and clean hydrogen. But as I think you all know, there are a lot of regulatory challenges. There's some statutory contradictions or gaps. So far, I don't believe CalRecycle has used any of its greenhouse gas reduction funding for hydrogen projects. We need a lot of help in this area, really, to use diverted organic waste for its highest and best use, which the Lawrence Livermore National Lab report, which is quoted in SB 1075 or cited in SB 1075, says explicitly, as its report did on carbon neutrality, converting organic waste to hydrogen is the highest and best use by far from a climate and other environmental purposes perspective. So it would be really great to have probably a full day workshop to talk about all the opportunities, the barriers, and potential solutions so that CalRecycle can join the team of state agencies that's really working to accelerate clean hydrogen development in California. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Any more comments?
Good morning, Evan Edgar Associates on behalf of the California Compost Coalition. Great work on the grants. Having the community compost grants are great, and the local government procurement for $90 million. And my understanding that money can be used for compost procurement or organic product procurement as part of the budget. So when people apply for the $90 million for their allocation, but some of the expenses could be procurement of organic waste products. So that's a question, but I'm looking for confirmation on that.
Evan, let me get back to you on the specifics on how that money, or if that money can be used to procure recycled organic waste products. I want to make sure before I confirm here.
Oh, thank you. And then the work you guys are doing on the infrastructure grant's great. At $155 million, we'll leverage another $600 million in private and public capital to divert about 2.5 million tons of new 1383 waste. So we'll add about 25% to the 1383 rate. So I'm going to be presenting a white paper by the end of the year about the 1383 progress and good work that the industry's doing. We have a lot of good momentum here with 1383 from all the grants you guys are doing with the local government, and so we're going to keep it going. So definitely want to support 1383. As part of that, one of the reasons I'm here today is ask you the process on your zero waste plan. It's due on July 1st, 2026, but there's a report due on July 1st, 2024 about the process to get there and all the gaps and analysis of existing programs, and to include the 75% roadmap to get to the zero waste. And the industry is here to help. I'm from the industry, we're here to help. We were fully engaged 2 years ago. We did the net zero greenhouse gas report with CalRecycle data. And the industry were early adopters. And we showed that we were 3.7 times net zero greenhouse gases with 2018 data. And if we have 75% by 2030, we'll be at 10 times net zero. We did that 2 years ago because we wanted to leverage that as part of that scoping plan and advanced clean fleet rule. And we made our best efforts to present that plan at all parties, but it really didn't have any, nobody took it up and wasn't really recognized as part of the scoping plan, because as early adopters, we were developing RNG, we're using RNG, we're supporting RNG, and we wanted to use that as part of the advanced clean fleet rule. And the group did a lot of effort to have some type of solid waste carve out as part of that, but not enough about how to use RNG for fleet vehicles. So we did that 2 years ago, and I want to do this again as part of the industry to have a roadmap for 75%. I'm looking for what process CalRecycle envisions, because July 1st will be here before you know it. If there's a workshop or a process that we can engage, because I know a lot of industry folks would like to step up in order to provide data, ideas, in order to move that forward. So I'm looking for any process, or how can we engage with CalRecycle to provide information, data, have a successful report that will come out on July 1st, 2024.
Thank you, and we look forward to engaging as well. And we are working internally on the exact process, but that should be available very soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. Shirley Frericks from Nevada County. Before I launch into my real reason for being here about plastic single-use bags, I've been listening to the New York Climate Week. I don't know if you have listened to any of it. And kind of one of the overriding thoughts that I've had, and I'm going to push up in Nevada County, is to change perspective. Waste is wealth. And I think that's a really important thing. And they keep talking about we have to change perspective and help people see the positive instead of only seeing the negative, because that's what the media shows us. But anyway, so putting that out there. Well, because I'm concerned about what's happening in the plastic single-use world, I did a survey of the stores in our area around to SB 270, the plastic bag recyclable law. And what I found is that basically they're like all over the place. Some don't charge anything, some charge 15, some charge 10, some don't have paper at all, some have, anyway. And so I'm going like, well, so we need a little renewal of this law. And for a few reasons. A, it was on as of 2016, then it was off, and then it's back on. But I'm not sure everybody knew, and I'm not sure most of all the customer knew that it was back on. And so I walk into these stores and I watch the clerk, this guy's buying a bunch of stuff. She puts like 4 things in one, and she grabs plastic first, puts 4 things in one, grabs another bag, 4 things in that one. He goes out with like a dozen bags, and he doesn't know he just paid 25 cents a bag. Okay, I'm almost positive that most customers don't know. There are some conscious stores at Briar Patch and others that, people, they bring it. But I think we need a renewal on this law. I mean, it would be very simple to require that they post a sign. I mean, that's what I'm going to try and do in my area. Post a sign and just say, this is why we're doing it. I don't even think they understand why we're doing it. Because it's like, oh, well, I guess the money doesn't matter. But we got to, we have to come up with the reasons to make it matter in terms of what it's saving from the environment and so on and so forth. So, I think we need to renew this, require a sign, and also require the clerks to not just grab a plastic bag. I mean, that's what they do. It's simple, right? I mean, it's right there. They just grab a plastic. They don't ask if they want paper. They just grab a plastic bag. Some stores, if I wanted paper, it's over there, out of sight, out of sight for the clerk, out of sight for me. But bringing a reusable bag is something they're not getting the concept. Anyway, so that's the most important. That's the most important piece, is how do we renew this? And the other end of it is I understand that I think it's Senator Allen either has already put forth a bill or is it going to on using something that's pure profit, okay? All of those dozen bags, 25 cents each at grocery outlet, thank you very much, all of that is profit for the store. And so he's proposing that we require some of the money that they take to come back into the recycling fund for whatever, I don't know, I forget what it was. But, I think that's another really important piece, is that's a huge amount of profit that we should be getting something back for education, or making signs, whatever that has to do. But anyway, so I think that's and then I also want to know who enforces this. Is it the city that has enforcement? Yes, no?
No.
No.
It's the AG. So that's the Attorney General, apologies. It's the Attorney General per statute.
Okay, and so how do I just say, hi, I'm from Nevada County. How do how do we go about enforcing this? I mean, a city council must have something to do with this, but how do you do this?
Well, this is an interest of the legislature, and you're bringing up really great points about the plastic bags statute and what it originally intended to do and what it's doing now. CalRecycle was not given an enforcement role in the original statute, and we can't really speak to enforcement, but I do know the Attorney General is very engaged on this, and you can reach out to their office. We could probably provide contact information to them so you can talk to them about how to do enforcement on their end. But again, this is important to the legislature. They're discussing it now. They're looking at renewing, updating, as you mentioned, one of the bills in the legislature. So it's definitely on everyone's mind.
Yeah, I mean, I really have to applaud Bonta. He's like coming out, you know, on a number of these issues. Okay, so I'll go there to see what they're going to do and how they do this. I mean, it's huge, right? It's big. Yeah. Okay. The other thing is I looked it up, and there's a law in Grass Valley that was processed to say no more plastic bags, period. That was in 2015. Well, I wasn't there in 2015, but I'm assuming that the California law superseded that state law. Is that correct?
We'd have to look at when. Yeah, we'd have to look at that for you.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, because theirs is very different. It's just like no, nothing. Ours, the California recycle law is different. It's a charge for it. But the purpose of the law is not being accomplished. I can say that. People don't get it. Oh, like money, no problem. So anyway, thank you.
Now, you're bringing up a good point. We do know there's a lot of confusion on the plastic bags bill, and we do get a lot of questions. So appreciate these comments, and they're very important. It's very important that the legislature hears as well. So appreciate your engagement.
How do I follow up on this?
Well, again, we can provide information on the contact for the Attorney General.
Okay. Yeah. And also, we have a new law coming in next year about the veggie bags, right?
That's right. Yes. Senator Eggman's bill.
I mean, let's wrap them together here and say, come on, guys, there's a reason behind these laws that, you've got to get on it. Yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Good morning, Nick Lapis with Californians Against Waste. First of all, just want to complain that you don't have a microphone on that side. That's my assigned seating is in that aisle. Actually, comments on a couple unrelated things. One is the federal funding through the Inflation Reduction Act. As you know, there's a lot of money available for environmental investments, and a lot of that is given to states and to local governments. And it seems like implementation of 1383 and organic waste diversion would be a very natural fit. But from what I can tell, it hasn't really been included so far in either the state plan or any of the metropolitan organization plans. And it just seems like a huge missed opportunity, especially since we're not going to have more organics funding in the budget probably in the foreseeable future. Do you all have any updates on that? And is there any coordination happening between CalRecycle and CARB and the local agencies on the CPRG, but the Inflation Reduction Act as a whole?
Sorry. Yes, so thank you for that question. We recently received some funding through the Swiffer grant money, which is US EPA grant money, and Los Angeles did as well to, I believe it was for a co-digestion project, if I'm remembering correctly. And our funding is specific to the zero waste plan in rural communities. But there is a lot of other efforts based on all of this funding that's coming down the pipeline. One of those is the National Green Bank that you're maybe familiar with, and there's an interagency work group that CalRecycle is an active part of, as well as our other brother and sister BDOs, iBank, et cetera, to talk about a strategy as far as how we can all work together to move forward our shared priorities, and organics infrastructure is certainly one of those that we're talking about. There's other coordination efforts happening on the other dollars as well with ARB. So yes, we are engaged. We're having regular conversations, not only with US EPA, but with other agencies and within the Cal EPA family too.
And specifically CPRG seems like a very big opportunity. I think it's $4 billion and it's money that's supposed to get out the door very quickly next year. I think the planning period is supposed to be over in, I believe, March, with money going out the door in April. And that would definitely be a great opportunity as well.
Yes, we agree.
And then on an unrelated note, just in response to a previous comment, not all hydrogen is created equal. You all have a waste hierarchy. There's some forms of hydrogen generated through disposal, some not generated through disposal. And I would just urge you, as you engage in that, to keep that distinction in mind. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for your patience with our technical difficulties.
Any more comments in the room today? Okay, so now Chief Deputy Mindy McIntyre will be going over the comments that came through our public comment portal. Thanks for your patience. We're having a lot of technical difficulties today. Oh. One more comment in the room.
Joseph Hippert from Grass Valley. I just wanted some clarity on CRV program. And what if I have a recyclable that's doesn't say CRV or California Redemption Value or California Cash Refund, CEA Cash Refund or CA CRV on it? What do I do with that?
Thank you. Are you representing yourself as a resident or as a recycling center, or? I'm just trying to answer your question appropriately.
Answer the question.
So the beverage container recycling program at this time only provides a refund value if the beverage container is appropriately labeled with the CACRV.
So what requires Coca-Cola to put that on their product?
The statute that
the Beverage Container Recycling Act does. And
a national program, or?
No, it's a California program. So only beverage containers that are within the program pay the CRV or consumers when they buy the beverage, pay that deposit, and then they're able to get it back when it's returned. So
where do you get the deposit back?
Well, we have recycling centers as well as beverage dealers.
So when I put it in my recycle bin, who gets the refund?
Well, it depends. It's either the city or the recycling program.
So not the consumer?
Not the consumer, no. That's per statute. It allows the blue bin to collect CRV as well.
Then why does the consumer pay the price?
As mentioned, that's part of statute, and so statute allows that.
You.
All right, again, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Shira Lane with Atrium 916. We're a creative innovation center for sustainability. I just wanted to talk a little bit about reuse, and with SB 54. We've been talking a lot about what things are going to be looking like, and with SB 54, there's going to be a need for reuse infrastructure. I think this is a big item, and I don't think that there's been a lot of thought on what that's going to look like. At the Atrium, we've done some informal brainstorming and kind of think tanking, and we've looked at it on two avenues. If it goes down a market avenue or if it goes down a statewide program. We've noticed that if it goes down a market, meaning that producers themselves are going to lead it, we've noticed that it might go down the same route that recycling is. Fragmented, confusing, not actually working. And we highly recommend actually considering maybe doing some kind of really investigative report or really looking into a strategic plan of what reuse infrastructure could look like for California. I think this is a really big question, and to make sure that proper investment is going in the right direction. And education would be a lot easier if it was one system that many people could plug into. It would also help with economic development in underserved communities. These are just some things we've brainstormed about, and we'd love to investigate this further, but thank you.
Thank you very much. And we do have a robust program in place for development of the regulations under SB 54. We also have some other venues to have that type of discussion, including the needs assessment under SB 54, but also our zero waste plan, which was mentioned earlier today. Thank you, and thank you for your comments. Thank you again for being patient with some technical difficulties. My computer is, of course, not working, so I will borrow Zoe's. All right, we have a comment from John Davis from the Mojave Desert and Mountain Recycling Authority on SB 1383. Can a joint powers authority apply for a portion of a member's agency grant amount and the agency apply for the remainder?
John, thank you so much for that question. We're going to take a look at that and get back to you. I want to make sure we fully understand the question too, so we might reach out for some more information.
Thank you, Zoe. Michelle Kashishin, and apologies if I have not pronounced his name properly, from the city of Fullerton, asks about 1383 local assistance grants and the amount that was awarded and whether or not that has changed.
Michelle, thank you so much for your question, and I think it's a good opportunity for us all to get back to the initial allocation, and I'll just quickly go over what we did with it. So our initial allocation this year for 1383 local assistance funding was $180 million. And last year, the previous allocation was $60 million. So that initial $60 million went directly out to jurisdictions through the local assistance grant program. We had a slightly different approach this year with $180 million, where we split that in half. So $90 million went into our organics infrastructure grant program, where that $90 million was available only for jurisdictions who would like to invest in new or expanded organics waste processing infrastructure within their jurisdiction. So that's where the first 90 went. As mentioned earlier in today's presentation, we're analyzing those grant applications now and are really excited about getting that money out the door. The other $90 million is the program that we talked about today, specific to local assistance to jurisdictions for implementation of 1383. So a slightly different focus. That's $30 million more than last year, and that's why we raised the base amount per jurisdiction. We also anticipate we'll have a few more jurisdictions coming in, given that many have gotten their enforcement ordinances done by now. So also very excited to get that money out the door as well. So I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from Susan V. Collins from the Container Recycling Institute, asking about the presentation from the August 10th meeting and the criteria for recycling innovation grant programs, that it would be presented at the public meeting in September. And I believe we have a workshop scheduled.
Yeah, so Director Wagner spoke to both the 1013 and the 179 money at our last monthly public meeting, and is really looking for us to think strategically for a comprehensive plan to get that funding out the door. So our goal is to bring to you a plan to workshop in November. And so we're looking at getting a room, this one or next door, reserved in November, and really looking forward to having robust discussion, given that so many of these programs are new grant programs, and a wide range of interested parties will be eligible for receiving funding. So bear with us. We need a little bit of time to just plan and make sure we have something comprehensive to share with you all so that we can solicit feedback to be successful, given that, once again, so many of these are new funding programs for us. And we want to get it out quickly, but we also want to get it out thoughtfully. So thank you for that question.
Next comment is from Leonard Lang. Mr. Lang asks about the training of regulation staff for the dealer cooperatives. Also asks about regulations regarding prepayment, and that there would be a workshop, which Zoe just mentioned is scheduled for November regarding payment under, grant programs under the Beverage Container Recycling Program. So Mr. Lang, we can assure you that our regulation staff is in fact trained. Our legal staff work alongside our program folks within the Beverage Container Recycling Program, as well as the Division of Circular Economy. There's a lot of of collaboration there, and our legal staff are very well trained in regulations development. Next comment is from Joe from Olins, no last name provided. When can we begin to address the problem between per count systems such as RVMs and the over-the-scale system? If an RVM collects containers per count, they should be reimbursed by count and not by weight. Thank you for your assistance.
Thank you, Joe, for the suggestion. Staff is currently reviewing our work plans for the next rate determination study, and we'll take this under advisement.
Not sure. Again, fun technical difficulties today. Mr. Lang also notes that the documents provided today's meeting don't correlate to those that we are using. We will check in on this. If you'd like to send us an email, Mr. Lang, we can check in on that for you. Another comment from Joe from Olins. Are the dates for grant workshops to discuss funds available for RVMs and bag drop technology? Are the dates for the grant workshops?
November, mid-November. We'll have specific details coming soon.
So not the exact date, but hopefully that will be available soon. Okay. Mike O'Donnell from the Mattress Recycling Council asks, or comments, to thank CalRecycle staff for their thoughts and review on the analysis of the report and budget for the California MRC team, who continue to expand recycling access to communities across the state. I'd like to thank the mattress industry for being actively engaged and supportive of the work. Engaging stakeholders throughout the value chain and life cycle of a mattress is critical for the long-term success of the program. I don't believe there's a question there. Thank you for your comments. Next comment is Valerie Lake from One Earth Recycling on SB 1013. What is the status of integrating comments received for SB 1013 regulations? How much participation did you get from the dealers and the grocers? Will all questions submitted get answered? When can we expect a response to our questions?
Thank you, Valerie, for your comments and questions, and appreciate all of the engagement that we received at the workshop and also the engagement that we've received since the workshop in the form of written comments. As you're aware, we're still in the informal part of our rulemaking. So our plan is to incorporate these comments into our draft regulatory language as quickly as we can. We will not be answering each individual question that's come in. We will be doing that during the formal portion of our rulemaking, which is required and really important as part of the record. So we will be doing that then, and we're looking forward to getting the formal process kicked off in the not too distant future. Thank you.
That's all of the comments from the public portal.
Thank you all for joining us for today's public meeting. You can find more information, as we mentioned, online. I did check, and the PowerPoint and agenda for today were the correct agenda. There was one change, and that was we have now 75% of local jurisdictions have organics collection programs, and the PowerPoint, I believe, that was online said 74%. We had several new jurisdictions that were just added to the total yesterday. So that was one change. Otherwise, you can find the videos from today's meeting on our YouTube channel by the end of the week. And also, as we work to make our communication as accessible, inclusive, and relevant to Californians as possible, we welcome your feedback to CalRecycle's public comment portal. Have a great rest of your morning and week, and we will see you next month. Thank you.